In a universe where ancient secrets lie hidden among the stars, a team of explorers stumbles upon a mysterious alien station pulsating with unknown energy. As they decode shimmering glyphs that tell a story older than time itself, they realize they're not just uncovering history. They're unlocking a warning that could change everything. With each revelation, they come closer to understanding a civilization's triumphs and tragedies, and the cosmic danger lurking in the shadows. But will their curiosity lead to salvation or unleash a disaster beyond imagination? Stay tuned, because what they discover next could rewrite the fate of humanity forever. Please wait. Before we start, tap that iCar button in the top right corner and smash that subscribe button. Right now, hit the notification bell so you're first in line when new stories land. All right, let's dive into the story. Commander Liam Frost stared blankly at the holographic display flickering in front of him, his eyes dull and unfocused. His hand hovered midair, clutching a nearly empty coffee mug that seemed to have become an extension of his fatigued state. The blue light from the Starship Audacity's bridge cast long shadows across his weathered face, highlighting the dark circles and tired lines that told the story of 3 sleepless nights. Souvenirs of relentless shifts, each day blurring into the next, all for this one moment. One chance to make humanity's first impression on a galactic stage. He took a slow breath, trying to steady himself as the weight of the mission pressed down. From the comm station, the pixelated image of Admiral Kowalski appeared, his tone as smooth as ever, but with an undercurrent of condescension. The Galactic Confederacy has requested a face-to-face meeting, the Admiral said, his voice clipped with the kind of tone that implied this was purely routine. And your ship is the closest. You're the logical choice. Liam's lips pressed into a thin line. He lowered the mug gently onto the console with deliberate care. Sir, with all due respect, he began, voice edged with dry sarcasm. This is a Havoc-class destroyer. We're called the Audacity. Our hull has a round and find out painted across the bow in 16-foot letters. It's a cultural expression, sir. Kowalski's image flickered faintly, as if resisting the urge to roll his eyes. Deadpan, he replied. We have 38 different weapon systems, self-defense capabilities, and an AI named Mayhem. An unfortunate acronym, he added, voice tinged with mild amusement. Military Analytical Yield Optimizing Heuristic Enhancement Matrix. Sounds quite peaceful if you don't abbreviate it. Liam pinched the bridge of his nose, a gesture of frustration and fatigue. We've got a coffee mug in the mess that says, I'd tell you to go to hell, but I work there and don't want to see you every day. There was a pause, and then Kowalski's tone grew more serious. Commander, I understand your concerns, but you're the only ship within 3 parsecs of the contact zone. The Confederacy specifically requested to meet us before they officially welcomed Earth into their little club. They want to assess our technological development, standard procedure. Liam's eyebrows raised. Sending us the most heavily armed vessel in this quadrant? That's their idea of standard? Precisely because of that, the Admiral said, leaning forward slightly, we want them to see what humanity can do if pushed. Peace through visible deterrence. That's the plan. Ambassador Mitchell and his team will transfer to Ganymede Station. You'll escort them, smile for the cameras, and let the diplomats do the talking. Liam exhaled slowly, feeling the familiar tension tighten his shoulders. And when do we leave? 12 hours, Kowalski replied. Plenty of time to make your ship look somewhat less threatening. Maybe put a bow on the railguns. If you have one large enough, it couldn't hurt. Liam stared at the console, knowing full well that 12 hours was hardly enough to hide the Audacity's true purpose. The ship was a behemoth, massive, angular, designed for war. It looked more like a weapon with engines attached than a diplomatic envoy. The external targeting arrays had been deactivated, weapons powered down, yet the ship's very silhouette screamed danger. Standing in the docking bay, Liam watched as Ambassador Mitchell, a slim man with salt and pepper hair and an unervingly polished smile, stepped forward. "Commander Frost," Mitchell said, extending his hand, his tone smooth and diplomatic. "A pleasure to meet you. I've heard impressive things about you and your ship." Liam shook the offer hand, forcing a polite smile. "Most of them are probably true," he replied dryly, "and all of them are classified." Mitchell laughed, a light, easy sound that didn't quite reach his eyes. "Well, I'm looking forward to working together," Mitchell said, voice carefully measured. "This meeting with the Confederacy Council is a historic moment. Earth's formal introduction to galactic society. The fate of human interstellar relations could hinge on the impression we make." Liam nodded, the weight of the words sinking in. "No pressure then," he said, voice flat but laden with irony. Mitchell's smile remained, but it was tight. "None at all," he said softly. "Now, perhaps you could show us to our quarters. We have preparations to make before the rendezvous." Liam gestured toward Lieutenant Kai Jiang, his second officer. "Lieutenant Jianong will show you to the diplomatic suite." The so-called diplomatic suite was little more than a hastily converted officer's recreation room. Partitions, borrowed furniture, and a handful of supplies. It's not exactly the grand hall one might expect for first contact. Once the diplomats were escorted away, Liam turned to his second-in-command, Commander Diana Wells, who had been silently observing the exchange. Her expression was one of mild disappointment mixed with practicality. "Thoughts?" he asked quietly. She shrugged, her tall frame casting a shadow over the console. "Politicians doing politician things," she said, voice dry. "They'll talk, smile, shake whatever they have, and we'll stand here looking menacing but not too threatening. That's the plan, right?" Liam sighed, rubbing his temples. "The Admiral wants us to look tough but not hostile. And I'm pretty sure they're going to figure out what this ship really is long before we get to Ganymede." She nodded, raising an eyebrow. "Well, sir, we've got a coffee mug in the mess that says, 'I'd tell you to go to hell, but I work there and don't want to see you every day.' Maybe that's the best diplomatic message we can send." Liam chuckled tiredly. "Yeah, just hope they get the message before we get there." His gaze drifted back to the hologram, already dreading what the next few hours, and perhaps the next few days, would bring. The galaxy was watching now, and Earth's fate hung in the balance, all depending on whether a warship named the Audacity could pull off a miracle in a diplomatic suit. The 12 hours felt like a blink of an eye to Liam Frost, yet they also stretched endlessly in the quiet tension of anticipation. The crew scrambled to finalize last-minute checks, reactivating minor systems that had been powered down for the diplomatic appearance. The hum of engines, the flicker of console lights, and the distant echo of footsteps created a symphony of controlled chaos. Liam stood at the viewport, staring out into the void, feeling a strange mixture of nerves and resolve. The starry expanse seemed almost calm, but he knew better. This was the calm before the storm. The ship's AI, Mayhem, broke the silence, voice calm and almost amused. "Commander, we're approaching the neutral zone. Estimated arrival in 5 minutes. Are you prepared for the unexpected?" Liam rolled his shoulders, trying to loosen the tension. "As ready as I'll ever be, Mayhem. Just make sure we're not caught off guard." "Of course. We're cloaked, but I'd advise against any sudden moves. Their sensors are surprisingly sophisticated." Just then, Eliza Okafor's voice crackled over the comm. "Commander, we've got visual. Approaching Ganymede Station now. Looks different. Very different." Liam straightened up. "Different how?" "Like a giant snowflake made of silver, with intricate arms extending in every direction. Seems almost delicate, but I wouldn't trust it for a second." He nodded grimly. "All right, keep us at a safe distance. Let's not give them any reason to get twitchy." As the Audacity slowed, the station loomed ahead, shimmering in the darkness like a jewel. It was breathtaking, almost beautiful, yet Liam felt a prickling sense of unease. The station looked fragile, but was likely a fortress in disguise. He remembered the briefings. The Confederacy prided itself on peace, but peace was often a thin veneer over formidable defenses. Suddenly, the station's communications system cracked to life. Approaching vessel, this is Ganymede Station. Please identify yourselves and prepare for docking procedures. Mitchell stepped beside Liam, adjusting his uniform with a confident smile. "Time to make a good impression," he said, voice steady. Liam nodded, voice low. "Remember, diplomacy is everything. We're here to show we're peaceful, no matter what our ship looks like." The hatch doors hissed open, revealing the alien that would set the tone for the entire encounter. Its skin was a shimmering shade of blue, tentacle-like appendages twitching slightly as it blinked multiple eyes in a rhythmic pattern. The creature's expression was hard to read, but its voice was surprisingly clear. "Greetings, humans," it said in a voice that sounded like a chime mixed with a whisper. "I am Coordinator Xyloplith of the Confederacy Welcome Committee. Our sensors have detected your vessel. We are pleased to receive your diplomatic delegation." Mitchell stepped forward, offering a warm, diplomatic smile. "I am Ambassador Evan Mitchell of Earth. We come in peace, eager to foster good relations between our peoples." The alien's many eyes blinked in unison. "We have prepared docking Bay 14 for your arrival. Our scans require a comprehensive technological assessment. Non-invasive, of course." Liam exchanged a glance with Mitchell. "Understood," he said, voice steady but cautious. "We're happy to cooperate." As the station's docking clamps engaged, Liam couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The alien's eyes widened slightly, tentacles twitching more rapidly. Their scans, he suspected, weren't quite as non-invasive as they claimed. The ship's sensors had already picked up anomalies, readings that indicated they were getting more than just surface-level data. "Is there a problem?" Mitchell asked, noticing Liam's tense posture. "Nothing we can't handle," Liam replied, forcing a calm tone. "Just curious about their methods." The hatch opened fully, and the team from Ganymede stepped inside, their eyes scanning everything with a mixture of curiosity and wariness. Liam watched as the alien coordinator gestured them forward. "Come," it said softly. "We will begin the assessment now." Once they entered the station's interior, Liam's gut twisted. The corridors shimmered with a strange, almost organic design, fluid, twisting shapes that defied conventional engineering. It was beautiful but unsettling. As they moved deeper, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. Watching from the bridge, Liam couldn't help but wonder whether they'd just stepped into a trap, or if this was truly the beginning of something new. Either way, the game had begun, and the first move had been made. The universe was watching, and Liam knew that their next choices could change everything. Inside the sleek, organic corridors of Ganymede Station, the air felt thick with anticipation, and something else, Liam thought. A strange, almost electric hum vibrated beneath his feet, whispering secrets he couldn't quite decipher. The walls seemed to pulse subtly, like they were alive, watching every movement with a silent, relentless gaze. The team moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing softly as they followed the alien coordinator deeper into the station. Liam's hand instinctively rested near his side, close to the weapon he'd reluctantly powered down, just in case. His eyes darted around, taking in the bizarre, flowing architecture that made human engineering look rigid and dull. This was alien design at its most mesmerizing and most unnerving. Mitchell, ever the diplomat, kept his tone light but careful. "Well, I have to admit," he said, voice echoing slightly in the strange halls, "I've seen a lot in my career, but this place, this is something else. It's like walking inside a living sculpture." The alien coordinator, Xyloplith, blinked its many eyes and responded in a melodic voice. "Our station is a reflection of our culture, fluid, adaptable, alive. We believe it embodies harmony and resilience. But do not mistake beauty for weakness. We are a formidable people." Liam's jaw tightened. "We understand," he said, voice deliberate. Earth respects strength, but we also value peace. That's why we're here, to build bridges, not burn them. Xyloplith's tentacle-like appendages twitched in what Liam guessed was a form of affirmation. Your words are appreciated, but trust must be earned. That is the way of the Confederacy. They reached a large chamber where a transparent, shimmering barrier separated them from what looked like a central control hub. Inside, alien machines hummed rhythmically, their lights flickering like heartbeat pulses. Liam's sensors detected faint traces of energy signatures, some advanced, some potentially dangerous. His instincts told him to be alert, even now. As they approached, a human-like figure emerged from a side corridor. She was clad in a sleek uniform, her expression composed but eyes sharp. "Welcome," she said, voice smooth and confident. "I am Commander Elora. I'll be overseeing the initial assessment. Please follow me." Mitchell stepped forward, extending a hand. "Ambassador Evan Mitchell. It's a pleasure to meet you, Commander." She nodded politely. "Likewise. We've prepared a series of scans and evaluations to ensure mutual safety. We ask that you cooperate fully." Liam glanced at her, sensing a hint of skepticism beneath her professionalism. "No problem," he said, voice steady. "We're here to cooperate. Just tell us what you need." Elora's piercing gaze lingered on him. "Very well. We will start with a standard energy signature analysis, tanned hen move to a surface scan. Please remain still and cooperative. Any sudden movements will be noted as hostile." Mitchell chuckled softly. "Well, I suppose that's diplomatic speak for don't make us shoot you." Elora's lips twitched into a faint smile, but her eyes remained calculating. "This is a peaceful mission, but peace is maintained through vigilance. Now, if you'll follow me." The team moved behind her, entering a room filled with alien consoles and holographic displays. Liam's sensors continued to pick up subtle anomalies, signals that didn't quite match what they'd seen before. His mind raced. What was the real purpose behind this assessment? Was it truly about peace, or were they probing for weaknesses? The truth was buried beneath layers of alien technology, hidden in the complex interplay of signals and shadows. As the door sealed behind them, Liam exchanged a glance with Mitchell. Neither of them spoke, but each knew the stakes had just risen. Earth's first contact was unfolding in a place that felt alive, watching, waiting. And Liam couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't just visitors. They were being evaluated, tested, and perhaps even evaluated for something far more dangerous. The game of diplomacy had only just begun, and every move now carried unimaginable weight. The universe was watching, and Liam understood that the next moments could define humanity's future forever. Inside the alien control chamber, the atmosphere was thick with tension and curiosity. Liam's eyes flicked from the holographic displays to the strange machinery humming rhythmically around them. The alien technology was unlike anything humans had ever encountered. Fluid circuits that shimmered like liquid glass, glowing glyphs weaving through the air with a life of their own. He felt a shiver run down his spine, not from fear, but from the overwhelming realization that they had stepped into a realm far beyond human understanding. Mitchell, ever the eager diplomat, leaned closer to one of the displays, squinting at the unfamiliar symbols. "So," Mitchell said, voice tinged with a mixture of awe and amusement, "we're basically inside a giant alien brain right now. Fancy that. Do you think they're analyzing our thoughts, too?" Liam shot him a glance, voice low. "Let's not give them any ideas. We need to stay sharp. Every little thing we do here could be a signal, whether we realize it or not." Elora, the commanding figure who had been overseeing the assessment, entered the room with deliberate grace. Her tone was calm, but edged with authority. "The initial scans are complete. Your vessel's energy signatures are within expected parameters, but there are anomalies, subtle fluctuations that require further analysis." Mitchell grinned. "So, it's like trying to read a book written in a language we don't understand. Fascinating, isn't it?" Elora's eyes flicked toward him, unamused. "Fascinating, yes. but also potentially dangerous if misunderstood. We do not take risks with unknown energies. Liam took a step forward, trying to keep his tone diplomatic but firm. We're here to cooperate. We mean no harm. Just tell us what you need, and we'll do our best to provide it. The alien commander nodded, then gestured to a nearby console. We will now perform a surface scan of your vessel. This process is non-invasive, but it requires your full cooperation. Please remain still. Mitchell, ever the joker, chuckled softly. Non invasive. Oh, good. Because I'd hate to have to explain to Earth's government that we accidentally triggered some alien security system. Alora's lips twitched into a faint smile, but her eyes remained sharp. This is serious. We have protocols for a reason. Any deviation could be misinterpreted. Liam felt a flicker of frustration, but kept his voice steady. Understood. We're committed to transparency. Just don't mistake our curiosity for hostility. The scanning process began, and the room was filled with an eerie, luminous glow. Shadows danced across the walls as alien glyphs flickered into existence, swirling across the holographic interface. Liam's sensors picked up minute variations, anomalies that hinted at more than just surface-level scans. Every reading seemed to whisper secrets that the aliens themselves might not even fully understand. Suddenly, a soft, melodic chime echoed through the chamber, and the glyphs shifted into a new pattern. Alora's expression grew more serious. There is something else, she said quietly. An energy signature that does not belong to your vessel. It's faint but persistent. We must investigate further. Mitchell raised an eyebrow. Great. So, we're not just being looked at, we're being watched. Like a couple of bugs under a microscope. Liam exhaled slowly. No surprises. Keep your guard up. Whatever they're sensing, it's not something we can ignore. As the scans continued, Liam's mind raced. What was this hidden energy? Was it a threat or an opportunity? Every second, the stakes grew higher. The alien technology around them was more than just advanced. It was alive with a purpose Liam couldn't yet comprehend. The room's glow flickered again, casting long shadows as if the station itself was alive and aware of their presence. The delicate dance of diplomacy and suspicion had only just begun, and Liam knew that the true test was still ahead. Their every move now carried the weight of humanity's future, and the universe watched silently, waiting to see what they would do next. The tension in the chamber was tangible as the alien glyphs flickered, casting an otherworldly glow that seemed to pulse in sync with the strange energy signatures detected earlier. Liam's eyes were glued to the holographic interface, his mind racing to interpret what little he could understand from the cryptic symbols dancing across the display. Suddenly, the room was filled with a melodious hum, alien, yet strangely calming, like a song woven into the fabric of the station itself. Mitchell looked around, trying to hide his curiosity behind a facade of calm, but his eyes betrayed a flicker of awe. So, Mitchell whispered, leaning in close to Liam, "Are we about to get a crash course in alien language? Because I got to say, this is more fascinating than any science fiction I've ever read." Liam shot him a sharp look. "Focus, Mitchell. We're not here to admire their alphabet. We need answers, fast." Alora, standing nearby, watched their exchange with a mixture of patience and suspicion. Her voice broke the humming melody gently. The glyphs are a form of communication, possibly a message or a warning. We're trying to decipher their meaning, but it's complex. They're encoded in a way that's unfamiliar to us, even with our technology. Mitchell chuckled softly. "Great. So what's the plan? Do we just sit here and hope they're sending us a friendly hello?" Liam's jaw tightened. "That's exactly what we're doing, listening, observing. We don't want to provoke them, but we also can't afford to ignore what's happening." Suddenly, the glyphs shifted, forming a new, more intricate pattern. The hum in the chamber intensified, and Liam felt a strange vibration coursing through the floor. His sensors detected a surge of energy, something powerful, something ancient. The room seemed to come alive, and for a moment, Liam wondered if the station was more than just a machine, but a consciousness itself, waiting to see if humanity was worthy of understanding. Alora took a cautious step forward. This pattern, this message, it suggests a warning or perhaps an invitation. We cannot be certain yet, but it's clear they are trying to communicate, not just with words, but with intent. Mitchell grinned nervously. Well, I'd say that's progress. They're talking to us. That's a good sign, right? Liam nodded slowly, eyes still locked on the shifting glyphs. It's a sign, but also a warning. We're dealing with something far beyond our usual understanding. We have to be careful. If they're trying to tell us something, we need to listen, and more importantly, respect what they're saying. The hum grew louder, almost like a heartbeat, resonating through the chamber. Liam's senses sharpened, detecting faint vibrations of energy radiating from the glyphs, like a message waiting to be unlocked. He exchanged a glance with Mitchell, who was still trying to make a joke, but was clearly shaken by the gravity of the moment. Just then, a new sequence of glyphs appeared, more complex than before, and suddenly, the entire room seemed to shift. The station's walls shimmered softly, revealing faint outlines of alien landscapes and starfields, visions that seemed to stretch across space and time. Liam's heart pounded. Was this a form of storytelling? A warning? An invitation? Or perhaps all three? Whatever it was clear the aliens were trying to bridge the gap, to reach out with symbols and signals that transcended language. As the glyphs glowed brighter and the hum reached a crescendo, Liam knew one thing for certain. They had crossed a threshold. Humanity's first true contact wasn't just about technology or diplomacy anymore. It was about understanding, patience, and respect. They were no longer visitors. They had become part of a larger, cosmic conversation, and every word, every symbol, carried the weight of worlds. Liam felt a strange mix of awe and responsibility settling deep within him, knowing that whatever message the aliens had sent, it was a key to unlocking secrets that could change everything. The station's ancient voice echoed silently, waiting to see if humanity was ready to listen. The eerie glow from the glyphs persisted, casting shifting shadows across the chamber's walls as Liam stared intently at the holographic display, trying to interpret the complex symbols that seemed to dance and ripple with their own life. The air was thick with anticipation, every breath feeling heavier as the room seemed to pulse with an inexplicable energy. Mitchell broke the tense silence with a nervous chuckle, breaking the weight of the moment. Well, I gotta admit, if this is their way of saying hello, it's definitely a lot more poetic than a simple wave. I mean, look at this, like they're writing us a cosmic haiku or something. Alora, standing poised yet visibly intrigued, glanced at the shifting glyphs and then back at the team. Her voice was calm, but edged with curiosity. They're communicating in a way that transcends language. These symbols are layered with meaning, possibly a form of storytelling or a warning. We are attempting to decode their message, but it's like trying to read a book written in the stars. Liam nodded, feeling the weight of responsibility settles even more heavily on his shoulders. We need to be careful. Whatever they're trying to tell us, it's important. We can't afford to misinterpret. Every flicker, every shift in these glyphs could mean life or death for us all. Suddenly, the glyphs erupted into a flurry of new patterns, brighter and more complex than anything they'd seen before. The hum of the station intensified, almost like a heartbeat echoing in their ears. Liam's sensors picked up a surge of energy, ancient, powerful, and almost sentient. The room seemed to pulse with the rhythm of that energy, as if the station was alive, watching them, waiting. It was as if the station itself was a living entity, revealing a part of its consciousness through the symbols. Liam felt a shiver run down his spine. "Look at this," Mitchell exclaimed softly, leaning closer to the display. "They're not just talking, they're showing us something." Maybe a history, a warning, or a map. Or all three. Alora stepped forward slowly, her eyes narrowing as she studied the glyphs. The patterns suggest a message, perhaps an invitation to understand their history or a plea for cooperation. The energy signature indicates they are reaching out, trying to establish a connection. Liam's voice was husky with awe. This is more than just communication. It's a bridge, an opening to something beyond our comprehension. They're sharing their story, their knowledge. We're on the verge of a breakthrough or a danger we can't yet see. The glyphs shimmered and morphed once again, revealing images, visions of distant worlds, star systems, and alien landscapes that stretched across the holographic space. Liam's heart pounded fiercely. Was this a warning of something coming? Or an invitation to join a cosmic dialogue? The images seemed to flicker between beauty and chaos, hinting at a history filled with both wonder and conflict. Mitchell, eyes wide with wonder, whispered, "Whoa, this is like looking at the universe's scrapbook. Or maybe it's a secret diary." Alora spoke softly. "We must consider both possibilities. If they're offering us a chance to learn, we need to respect that. But if this is a warning, we need to prepare ourselves for what's coming." The room's energy swelled as the symbols shuddered, lighting up in a crescendo of glowing glyphs that seemed to pulse in time with their beating hearts. Liam felt the weight of the moment settles deep within him. Humanity was no longer just an outside observer. They had become part of a larger story, a cosmic conversation that spanned light years and millennia. The station's silent voice echoed in his mind, an invitation, a challenge, a mystery waiting to be unraveled. With every flicker and every glow, Liam understood that their next move could forge a new chapter for humanity or seal their fate forever. The stakes had never been higher, and he knew that whatever message was encoded in those glyphs, it would shape their destiny, and perhaps the fate of all life in the universe. The room was alive with a radiant glow, the glyphs shimmering in an intricate dance of light and shadow that seemed to breathe with a life of its own. Liam's eyes widened as he watched the symbols shift and morph, revealing an astonishing array of images, celestial landscapes, ancient worlds, and what looked like the history of civilization far older than humanity. His heart pounded with a mixture of awe and trepidation as he realized they were peering into a cosmic story written in a language beyond words. Mitchell leaned in, eyes glued to the holographic display, whispering, "I don't know what's more incredible, these alien glyphs or the fact that we're actually seeing their history unfold right before our eyes. This is like the universe's greatest documentary, and we're the audience." Alora stepped closer, her expression serious but tinged with wonder. "This is what I feared. They're showing us their legacy, perhaps their triumphs, their tragedies, or warnings. The glyphs are a direct link to their consciousness, a way for us to understand who they are and what they've endured." Liam ran a hand through his hair, trying to process what he was seeing. It's like they're giving us a gift, or maybe a warning. We have to be cautious. If this is their history, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There's darkness here, too, conflicts, losses. We're looking at the universe's scars, and we're lucky they're sharing them with us. Suddenly, the images shifted. The holographic landscape changed, revealing a sprawling cosmic war. Beings clashing across star systems, planets burning, and fleets of ships locked in eternal battle. Mitchell whistled softly, eyes wide. "Whoa, talk about a history lesson. Looks like they've had their fair share of fights. Maybe they're trying to tell us, hey, we've been through this too. So don't come in with guns blazing." Alora nodded solemnly. "Exactly. These glyphs are not just stories, they're lessons. They're trying to teach us about balance, about respecting the forces we're dealing with. Ignorance could lead to catastrophe." Liam looked at the shifting images, feeling a strange sense of connection to this alien history. Maybe that's why they're reaching out. They want to share their story so we don't make the same mistakes. But what's most unsettling is the final image, something different. It's like a warning, a last plea for caution. It shows a dark void swallowing entire star systems, a silence that feels heavier than any words could express. Mitchell shivered, glancing nervously at the display. So what now? Do we just sit here and gaze at their ancient secrets? Or do we take what we've learned and run like hell? Alora's voice was firm but gentle. We listen, we learn, but we also prepare. We are part of their story now, and with that comes responsibility. Humanity has a chance to understand, to forge a new path in the universe, or we risk repeating the mistakes of those before us. The glyphs pulsed brighter, almost like a heartbeat echoing through the chamber, and the images began to fade, leaving only the glowing symbols. Liam took a deep breath, feeling the weight of destiny settle upon him. This was more than discovery. This was a turning point. They had glimpsed the past, and understood the pain and resilience of a civilization that had endured eons. Now, standing at the precipice of the future, Liam knew that the choices they made in those moments would determine whether humanity would be welcomed into this cosmic dialogue or dismissed as reckless newcomers. He looked at his companions, a newfound resolve igniting within him. We've seen their story. We've seen what's possible and what's to fear. It's up to us now to decide how we tell our own. Let's make sure it's a story worth sharing. As the glyphs faded into darkness, Liam felt a surge of hope mingled with responsibility. They had unlocked a gateway, not just to an alien civilization's history, but to their outtour in a vast, mysterious universe. And that was the end of the story. Comment below if you want the next chapter, and hit that like button. Please subscribe, turn on the bell, and as always, keep the last light burning.